Now, whenever we think about the economics of the tooling, so for the fixed asset, we should consider the depreciation cost accordingly, and with the consideration of depreciation cost, we can carry out the economics properly for the profit of the organization at the end. Now, the objectives why this depreciation will be required to be provided on the fixed asset, and that objectives are enlisted here as to ascertain the true result of the operations. So, whenever the fixed assets we are calling, so that amount whatever we expend on the fixed asset and the depreciation value after some usage. So these requirements are to be considered so that proper profit estimation can be made. The second objective is to present true and fair view of the financial position. The third objective is to accumulate funds for the replacement of the assets. So this is very important, these two objectives, by which the company's financial position should be made with the generated revenue in such a fashion that we can go for the mass production continuously even after the replacements of the assets. And for the replacement of the assets, that is for the replacement of the machines, so whatever the financial position required, that financial position should be established from the generated revenue only. The last objective is to ascertain the true cost of the production. So this is again very important, that if the depreciation cost, if we are not considered, then a true value, a true cost of the production will not be come on the surface. And at the last, we may be in a loss statement. So to overcome this, all the possibilities, we require that the depreciation should be provided on the fixed assets. There are few methods, these are the accounting methods by which the depreciation cost and the depreciation will be provided on the assets. The first method is been called as a straight line method, in which the depreciation per year will be provided in a straight way. That is, how much lifespan the machine has covered, and according to that, whatever the value we are getting at the last for the machine. So considering these all aspects, we require to provide the depreciation per year, and with the simple formula, that is depreciation per year, which is equal to the purchase price minus the scrap value, that means the original value of the machine, and after we sell down that machine after the usage of the lifespan of that machine. So suppose 10 years we work with that machine, so for the 10 years, so equal dividend of depreciation will be provided annually. And this method requires the expertise for selection of the lifespan of the machine, because the scrap value of the machine, it may be get changed, but we should think about the only scrap value, that is per kg of the scrap, what is the weight of the machine, and per kg what is the scrap value we are getting, that much amount we have to think, so that we will be in a proper profit statement. So this equal dividation of the depreciation per year will be helpful, so that from the generated revenue, we should keep annually some amount aside, so that the replacement of the machine can be happens with that amount. So this is a very simple short method, which has been again called as a straight line method. One example we are going to solve with the help of this, where it was been said that a machine purchased for 80,000 rupees and the scrap value after the 12 years of the usage of the machine is rupees 8,000. So considering these amounts, that is original price of the machine 80,000, scrap value 8,000, and the year of the span for which the machine can be worked, that is 12 years. So equally, this depreciation per year, it comes as 80,000 minus 8,000 divided by 12, which is equal to 6,000 per year. So with the help of table format, we can calculate the book value for the machine. Now, the book value is the value which will be represented, the amount which is required to be get generated from the sales revenue in the upcoming years. For example, for the first year of the usage of the machine, the depreciation annually it is 6,000. So for first year it will be 6,000 only. So 6,000 is the amount we get from the revenue, that is after selling the components apart from the profit. So if suppose 6,000 amount, if we carry out, if we make it aside, so the remaining value of the machine will be becomes 74,000. In the next year, the amount which we required to keep aside is again 6,000 for the second year and the earlier 6,000. So for the second year, the total depreciation becomes 12,000 rupees. So 12,000 rupees in the next in the second year we are making aside from the generated revenue, and in that case the book value becomes 74,000 earlier value minus again 6,000, so 68,000. So in this case, if suppose in between the 12 years of the operation, if one person requires to change the machine, suppose at the age of 6th year, so he can easily get the value which is required again from the sales revenue, that is 44,000. So this 44,000 will be the loss if we consider the machine has to be replaced at the age of 6th only. So this 44,000 will be the loss for the company in that case. And we should consider the new machine value as its original price plus this 44,000, so that there will not be the loss after the second machine's usage. So these considerations will always take the organization towards the profit. They will always provide the true value of the production, and with this we can have the depreciation into consideration. The second method is been called as the reducing balance method, or again in accounting it is called as diminishing balance method, in which a fixed percentage of the book value we require to be kept aside every year. So this value has been taken into consideration because we are knowing for some of the machines the early depreciation value will be different, and after some age the depreciation value will be different. So it needs the expertise again to think on the initial years how much percentage of the depreciation should be there, and in the after some usage how much percentage of the depreciation we should put on the cost. So in this case, according to this method, the depreciation amount is larger during initial years, because we are knowing in the initial years only if we require to sell down the machine, so value whatever we got from the market as a scrap value for the machine will be a huge amount. So to decrease that value by some percentage, we require to put the depreciation in the initial years more in a number, and thereafter we should decrease the depreciation every year. So this aspect is very important, that in the initial phase of the machine, initial usage of the machine, initial lifespan of the machine, we should keep the higher percentage or higher depreciation values. However, the book value goes on reducing at lesser and lesser rates, but never becomes zero with this reducing balance method. Even though the scrap value becomes zero, still the depreciation will not become zero in that case, or the book value will not become zero in that case. Here the formulae for calculating the depreciation value with this method is the depreciation annually is equal to 1 minus into bracket scrap value divided by purchase value bracket raised to 1 upon number of useful years. So this formula is been required to calculate the annual depreciation, and if suppose we require to calculate the book value after n years, so in that case we can easily get the value with the formula, that is book value after n years is equal to the purchase value into 1 minus the depreciation, annual depreciation, so bracket raised to n. This n will be suppose at second year only we require to calculate, so the n becomes 2 in this case. So this way we can calculate easily the depreciation with the help of reducing balance method. One example we can understand the reducing balance method as, suppose the original price is 1,20,000 and the salvage or residual or scrap value, so these are the names by which the scrap value again can be announced as salvage value or the residual value for the machine. Suppose in this case it is 5,000 rupees and the useful years will be 10 years. So by this we can say the tabulate format, we can easily quote the depreciation per year. So by formula D is equal to 1 minus scrap value divided by the purchase value raised to 1 upon n. So if we keep the values as D is equal to 1 minus scrap value is 5,000 divided by purchase value is 1,20,000 raised to 1 upon 10. So the value becomes D is equal to 0.2723. So after n years we can have easily got the book value for any year, and suppose at the 0th year only we require to get the value, book value, so the 1,20,000 will be the value in that case, because just we have purchased the machine, so all value will require to be there as a book value. After suppose 1 year we require to calculate it, so by the formula, so purchase value into 1 minus the depreciation, that is annual depreciation as 0.2723 raised to 1, as the first year will be there. So the value becomes 87,324. So this value is required to be booked after the age of the 1 year of the machine. So this way you can get the value at the last, that is 10th year, that is 4,996.95 rupees. So this way you can So this way you can get the reduced balance method, in which we can easily get the values which we acquire for the depreciation in early age. So the difference of the book value, it is about, in the first year of completion, it is about 30,000 rupees, and the depreciation in the early age of the machine, it is more in amount, and thereafter as the age goes to the 10th year, so we can say that the 9th and the 10th year, the depreciation value is very less, it is about 3,000 rupees. So this way also you can provide the depreciation, keeping in mind the obsolescence of the design for the machines. And this is why this kind of a depreciation is required to be understood, where the fixed assets or the machineries, the obsolescence of the designs may happen for the machines. The third method is again important, which has been called as sinking fund method. Now sinking fund, as the name suggests, sinking fund, that means we have to sink, we have to provide a sink where the fund can be accumulated and we can get the interest on it. So this method is very important, as the generated revenue after the selling of the components and the part of it for the depreciation, so that part we should keep into the banks or some government securities, so that we can earn some interest on it. So the annual interest, as per the government policy for the sinking fund, so yearly that value can help us. If the earned interest will be added into the fund, so definitely that value can be easily available for us for the replacement of the new assets. Now this sinking fund method is very important if we consider the replacement of our assets with the new one. So this will provide the added advantage of the interest, and again it will reduce the burden on the depreciation by some amount. So this method again help us for keeping our product more compatible into the market. Now this method can be understood with the formula, where we can say that if the amount Q deposited at the end of first year into the sinking fund, so the Q amount which we are kept into the sinking fund, we are generating some added value into it because of the rate of interest, and that can be at the age of n-1 years, that value becomes the Q, that is sinking fund value, into bracket 1 plus R raised to n-1. This 1 plus R is the rate of interest that bank is providing us on the fund which we have been provided into the bank. So at the age of the n-1 year, for the fund which we have dropped in the first year, we are getting the value, okay, for the Q value we are getting the additional value of 1 plus R raised to n-1 at the age of n-1 years. So this can be carried into the second year again this Q value if we deposit into the second year. So at the age of n minus 2 years, we can have Q into again into bracket 1 plus R raised to n minus 2. So this will be carried out for the number of years, and if we club these amounts, so at the end of the n minus 1 year, as the Q value is been get increased as Q into bracket 1 plus R, so the total value or the total sinking fund which is now available with us is becomes Q into the bracket 1 plus R raised to n minus 1 plus 1 plus R raised to n minus 2, that is the additional values of the rate of interest. If the value is kept for the first year, if the value is kept for the second year, third year, likewise the Q value to put for the number of years, and in the last year we are getting 1 plus R. So this, after the n years, this total amount will be added into the fund. So definitely this added value into the sink, so it will help us for the replacement of the machine, and this additional burden can be removed from the depreciation. So by geometrical progression, this total sum can be carried out as 1 upon 1 plus R into Q minus Q into bracket 1 plus R raised to n minus 1 divided by 1 upon 1 plus R minus 1. And again solving it, we can get the total sum as Q into bracket 1 plus R raised to n minus 1 divided by R. So this becomes your total sum of the fund whatever you earn from your depreciated value. This must be equal to the cost of replacement value, that is Q, which is equal to the P minus S, that is the new value minus the salvage value of the machine. And in this case, if we equate this cost of replacement of the new machine Q with the fund which we have generated with the help of this rate of interest earned by keeping the sinking fund into the banks. So if you equate these two, we can have the annual deposit Q is equal to Q into R divided by 1 plus R raised to n minus 1. So this is the method by which we can easily work out for the sinking fund, and this can be explained again with the help of one example, where it was been stated that a 300 kilovolt distribution transformer, one of the equipment into the company, whose cost is 20,000 rupees and has a salvage value of 1,000 rupees at the end of 20 years. So this is a fixed asset which the company purchased for rupees 20,000, and after the usage of 20 years, the scrap value we are getting 1,000 rupees for that transformer. So it was been said that to calculate the depreciated value of the plant at the end of 10 years. So suppose the company has to take the decision after the 10 years for removing the earlier transformer or replacing the earlier transformer with new one. So what should be the booked amount? And that amount we require to calculate by both the methods, that is the straight line depreciation method and by the sinking fund depreciation of 8% compounded annually. That means this 8% is the interest we are getting earned compounded annually on the fund which we require to keep into the banks. So this, by straight line method, this can be easy that we are knowing the purchase value, the scrap value, and the number of years for which that machine has been used. So for 20 years annually, the depreciation becomes 950 rupees. So at the age of 10 years for the transformer, the value becomes 950 into 10 and the purchase value is 20,000 rupees. So from the 20,000 rupees, already we have get this much of the amount in the revenue, that is 9,500 rupees. So the remaining amount for the transformer is after the 10 years is 10,500 rupees. So this much of the amount you should again consider for the replacement, and the replacement machine, if suppose it is again costing for 30,000 rupees, so its value at that instant will not be 30,000, so the value becomes 30,000 plus the earlier book value which is remained, that is 10,500. So it becomes 40,500 rupees for the transformer. So this economic consideration we should consider with the straight line method. The next method by which we can solve again this for the sinking fund, where we can get the Q, that is the value of the depreciation whatever we kept into the aside into the banks, and we get the interest on it. So that Q becomes P minus S, that is original cost or the purchase cost minus salvage cost, into bracket R upon 1 plus R raised to n minus 1. So keeping the values, we can have the depreciation cost of rupees 415.20 rupees. So at the age of the 10 years, we can have the accumulated value inside the banks with the formula Q into bracket 1 plus R raised to at the age of 10, so 10 minus 1 divided by R, that is 8%, that is 0.08. So Q value, that is annual depreciation, into the earned interest for the 10 years. So the value becomes 6,015 rupees. So at the age of the 10 years, we can have the depreciated value for the machine as 13,985 rupees. So already this much amount we have been booked. So this additional 3,000 rupees or 3,400 rupees we got from the banks with the help of the interest. In the straight line method, you can get the value as rupees 10,500 only after the 10th year, and now the value becomes 13,985. So whatever the difference we have get, so that is due to the interest whatever we earn from the banks. So this way the additional burden we can easily work out on that with the help of the sinking fund method. So this method will help in this way. Now the next method by which again the depreciation can be provided is been called as machine hour method, in which the depreciation can be calculated according to the usage of the machine in hours. So as like your straight line method, this method can be applied, and the cost of the asset is divided by estimated working hours. The actual depreciation for any given period depends upon the working hours during that years only. So this can be calculated with the formula that depreciation per hour is equal to the original cost of the machine minus scrap value divided by estimated life of the machine in hours. So this much of the given data should be known to us initially, the original cost of the machine, scrap value of the machine, and the estimated life in the hours for the machine, by which per hour the depreciation value we can calculate. Thereafter, according to the usage in a particular year, we can easily get the value for depreciation in that year as useful hours in that year multiplied by depreciation per hour. So this method can be easily, we can understand with the example. For a machine, if the purchase value, if it is 3 lakhs rupees, and it is estimated that it will work for 24,000 hours. The scrap value of the machine is 20,000 rupees, and you require to calculate the depreciation in the years from 1 to 3, 4 to 6, and 7 to 10. So this is a span of the years which will be given, in which in that year of the span 3000 hours per year the machine has been used. In the 4 to 6 years, 2600 hours per year the machine has been used, and in the 7 to 10 years, 1800 hours in that particular year the machine has been used. So we require to calculate according to the machine hour basis the depreciation. The solution will be tabulated as the machine price will be 3 lakhs rupees, scrap value is 20,000 rupees, useful hours which are known to us, that is 24,000 rupees. So the particular amount of the depreciation per hour basis we can easily calculate as 3 lakh rupees minus 20,000 divided by 24,000. So the value which will becomes, so that will be the depreciation per hour. So in the year span of 1 to 3 years, 3000 working hours will be completed by the machine. So annual depreciation becomes in that every year. So the value becomes 3000 working hours annually multiplied by the depreciation per hour, that is 30,000 minus 20,000 divided by 24,000 useful hours. So the value comes as 35,000 rupees annually. So in the year of 1 to 3, annually the value will be 35,000 rupees, which will be booked into that year. 4 to 6, again we can calculate with the given information about the number of hours, that is 2600, and the value comes 30,333 rupees and 30 paise. In the 7 to 10 years, again with the formula, for 1800 hours the value becomes 21,000 rupees. So this way, according to the working hours of the machine, we can calculate the depreciation in that year. The next method, which is again known as production unit method. So this is the last approach by which we can again understand how the depreciation will be provided if the number of units produced by the machining process or by the machinery, if we understand. Normally, this can be an approach where we can easily find out if we are knowing the produced quantity in the useful life of that machine. So estimated production in the overall useful life of the machine, it should be known to us, and that is estimated. So one of the expertise will be required to get this estimation. So depreciation per unit, it becomes original cost of the machine minus scrap value divided by estimated production in overall usage life of that machine. So this is again kind of a straight line method where we are just considering the production units or the units that are being produced after the machinery or after the machining. So number of units produced, and for that number of units we can provide the depreciation in this way. Now, a for a particular year, we can easily calculate now depreciation for a particular year becomes produced units in that year multiplied by depreciation per unit. So as like in the earlier method, we should again go with this method also for getting the depreciation value. With the example, you can understand this. For a machine of costing 2 lakh rupees and useful life of the 10 years, the scrap value is 20,000 rupees and the machine is expected to produce 1.5 lakh units during its lifetime. So in the 10 years, the number of units produced by that machine is 1.5 lakhs. So we require to calculate the depreciation for 1 to 3 years, 4 to 7 years and 8 to 10 years if the produced quantities in that respective years are being provided to us as 20,000, 15,000 and 10,000 units per year. So the tabulated solution will be gives us the machine price 2 lakh rupees, scrap value 20,000 rupees, useful life is 10 years and produced units in this useful life of 10 years is 1,50,000. That is 1.5 lakhs. So in the year of 1 to 3, we can have the produced quantity as 20,000. So annual depreciation with the method again as the original cost minus scrap value divided by the number of units produced in the useful life. So that will provide us per unit how much depreciation will be there, and per unit depreciation value multiplied by the units produced in that year. So they will provide us a value, book value per year in that span of 1 to 3 years. So in the first case, if the produced quantity is 20,000, so the book value becomes 24,000 rupees per year. In the 4 to 7, the produced quantity is 15,000 units, so the book value becomes 18,000 in this case. The formula here, which will represent us that number of units produced in that year multiplied by per unit depreciation cost. So per unit depreciation cost will be calculated by earlier formula as original cost minus scrap value divided by number of units produced in the useful life. So with this, you can have the 18,000 as a value. In the same fashion, for 8 to 10 year of the span, if the produced quantity is 10,000, so the book value becomes 12,000 rupees for the depreciation. So this way, you can calculate the depreciation values and you can implement this in the economics so that a proper costing approach you can provide for the next purchase or the replacement of the machinery into the mass production. So whenever any kind of a change we require to be provided into the earlier setup, we require to understand the depreciation value of the earlier setup, and according to the depreciation values, the profit can be earned and we can compete into the market by proper consideration of this depreciation value. So this approach will definitely help the industries so that they will not go into the loss statement after the completion of their production, and whatever the revenue generated from that revenue itself, they can earn at least the replacement value for the machinery.